Please welcome Marisa Dueñas.
Thank you. No music for me? Is that what we're doing? My name is Marisa Dueñas. It's Spanish, and I'm white, which is really only confusing if you've never heard of Europe. Always disappoints a job interview, so. Right? And I hate to say it, but I've actually been a diversity hire before. Because I used to work at this place where everybody was like tall and blonde and had a coke problem. And the only reason they hired me is that they looked at me and they were like, well, she definitely doesn't have a coke problem. Little did they know. I'd show up to work, I'd be like super amped up. They'd be like, oh, good morning, Marisa. You sure have a pep in your step. What's going on? I'd be like, oh, last night I met a man and he has teeth and so I go with him now. They'd be like, that makes sense for you. Congratulations. I'm not the only one in my family with addiction issues. My mom is a clothing hoarder. Yeah. She keeps all of her clothing from the 70s and 80s, even though they don't fit her anymore. Like, she's a thin woman. She's just not as thin as she used to be, but I think she just keeps her old jeans so she can use them to, like, flog herself. You know, like, you size 6 piece of shit! Can't fit into those size 2s now, can ya? Shouldn't have eaten that cookie 4 years ago, now should ya? This is why your daughter does stand-up comedy, isn't it? She tries to get me to hoard clothing too, because she'll say something. She'll say, well, Marisa, you never know when you might need to wear that to a costume party. Right, because that's my big problem. Too many costume parties. Right, like, Becky, if I told you once, I've told you 100 times, I'm not coming to your Marie Antoinette themed birthday party. I don't care how many macarons you ordered. I simply haven't the petticoats. But I am becoming my mother because recently I tried to clean out my closet and I found myself thinking, well, you never know when you might need to wear that to a sex party. Which is where I go to get flogged. I'm sober. I'm a sober person. That's fine. No. The fact that that's not a standing ovation is just proof that you didn't know me back then. You're welcome. I'm sober. I am so happy to be sober. I only just have one regret about the whole thing, which is really, I kind of hope that if I got sober that it would be like an episode of Intervention, right? Like you've seen Intervention, right? Like they're kicking and screaming and crying and they're working at a factory to support their daughter who lives with an innkeeper man and his wife, and then the factory workers find out about the daughter, so they get fired for being a harlot, so then they become a prostitute, and then they get the consumption, and then they meet a man who vows to care for the child, and then they sing a song that requires an insane amount of breast support for someone with tuberculosis. Guys, that's just the plot to Les Mis. I've never seen Intervention. Never seen it. But I have always wondered, what would it be like if a person with tuberculosis tried to sing I Dreamed a Dream? I've wondered that so you don't have to. So here it is, my impression of a person with tuberculosis singing I Dreamed a Dream. I had a dream my life would be so different from this hell I'm living, so different now from what it seems. Thank you guys so much. I gotta stop. This might shock some of you, but I majored in musical theater in college. Yeah, okay, woo, yeah. No, I learned less useful than a BFA in musical theater is going to school for 3 years and not getting a BFA in musical theater. Yeah, so I left that world to do stand-up comedy, which, as it turns out, is the only thing less useful than going to school for 3 years and not getting a BFA in musical theater. I was on a show recently. There was a black guy who got on stage, and he told a story about how the first time he had sex with a white woman, he was surprised to find out that white women weren't good at giving blowjobs. So I went up to him after the show, because we needed to talk about this. And I just said to him, like, why would you think we would be good at that? Like, we've never had to work hard for anything. Except our Father's love, and that's not the way we do it. Unless our name is Crystal with a K, then that's probably exactly the way that we do it. Oh, no, I know. Fucked up family dynamics, not funny. Fuck that shit. I have the kind of daddy issues where it was be hot enough to be a stripper or be funny enough to be a comic. One of those options not available to me, so what I'm trying to say is I need this. I love doing stand-up. I love doing stand-up here in Chicago. I just recently moved here from New York. I hate to be the one to break this news to you guys, but it turns out dating sucks everywhere. I'm so sorry. So sorry to tell you that. Any of the guys in the room, any of you guys ever lived in Brooklyn? No? Oh, okay, cool. Everyone ever visit Brooklyn? Okay, all right. Rest of you, ever been to an Urban Outfitters? You're my target demo. All right, so I have a favor to ask, and I know it's like, ugh, I hate women who like have opinions. But basically, it's this. When we go out on a date, and we start off at a bar that only serves $5 beer shot combos, and I don't drink, but you ask me to split the bill with you, and then you take me to some vegan-friendly, gluten-free, dairy-free, refined, sugar-free, taste-free, fucking calorie-free restaurant, because the only thing they serve are celery sticks built to look like the Burning Man symbol. And then you take me to some hippie warehouse party where a bunch of Hare Krishna-looking dudes try to lure me into a van to partake in an ayahuasca ceremony. And I half consider it, but ultimately decline. So we go back to your apartment, which used to be a motorcycle repair shop, but you made a retaining wall out of like 5 different materials. And one of those materials is just parts of a fixed-geared bicycle. And now this is your domicile. And I sit there and I watch you smoke your shitty weed, which you assure me is like totally legit because you got it from your drug dealer named Bradley who went to Stanford. And we finally have sex. Can you have more than one fucking pillow? It's not even a pillow, by the way, guys. It's just a pillowcase stuffed with old Joy Division t-shirts being held together by a bunch of staples. I'm sorry, I don't mean to criticize it. You men children are my bread and butter. Thank you for your service. I would just appreciate it if my walk of shame the next morning wasn't to my chiropractor. All right, thanks so much, guys. I'm Marisa Dueñas.